Monday edition, Mr. Relevant. I'm Alex Strofe with you from the Gerber offices. One call. That's all studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. I don't know where Josh is. Haven't seen him in the last 5 minutes. Maybe he'll show up at some point. Hunter Vaughn is back. There he is. There he walks in.
Good, because, I mean, given what I made for this opening segment here, I mean, that would have made it tough if he just skipped out on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have shocked me given what he's been up to recently. The lower third, for those of you listening on the audio stream, says, Josh era, Joshy is on generational run. And now he strolls in for the second episode in a row, 2 minutes late.
Busy guy.
What's going on with you?
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. Had a good weekend. Did some fun stuff.
Like what?
I went to our friends over at X Golf Brookfield yesterday. Spent 3 hours at the sim. Golfed a pretty nice round. A lot of birdies, a lot of pars. No big deal.
Okay, what else did you do?
I actually broke into a house this weekend.
Okay. You were asked to break into a house.
That is important.
You did have the homeowner's permission.
Yes, I received permission. There was a wedding shower this weekend for my friend's sister. People in and out of her house. They managed to lock not one, not two, but 3 sets of keys all inside the house. So while they were all out partying, having a good time, I got a call saying, "Hey, can you go see if you can break into XYZ's house?" I said, I can try. It's been a while since I used that skill.
What do you mean?
There was a time where I had a friend who lived in an apartment building the front door you had to get buzzed into but didn't always work. So you would just be able to let yourself in and then go to their apartment. So I haven't done that in a while. Probably a time or two here and there where a similar situation, you're locked out and it's, well, give it the old credit card trick. Walked up to her house. The dog was standing on the other side of the door, wagging his tail, looking at me. Credit card right in the slot there. Pop. In. No big deal. Saved the day. Saved the locksmith having to come out to town.
They were grateful, I assume?
To tears, which there's alcohol involved. But,
sure.
Yeah. It was. Luckily, I wasn't party to the tears because they were still out having fun when I got sent to do the unlocking because I was not with them.
Wait, how'd you know they cried that you got in?
It was reported back by Mussolini that there was.
They were so grateful there was tears.
Yes. Now, mind you, I got very lucky. Like the way the door is, it's a well secured door, and the card I had to take multiple turns, and for whatever reason, I hit the perfect spot to get it through. Because when I looked at it,
who are you? Who are you?
I'm
no,
man.
I just want to recap.
Yes,
so we are not quite to a year of you joining the show.
Uh-huh.
But we're approaching around a year of at least your intermediate appearances.
Yeah. Yep.
In the last year that you've joined this show, I just want to reflect a little bit on the era that we are in of Josh DiMaggio.
Yeah.
So, you referenced Mussolini. You've moved in with Mussolini. Live in a house together.
Yes.
You have a dog. You got a dog. How old's the dog?
He's 1.5, approaching 2.
Okay. How long have you had him since he was a baby?
Had him since you can responsibly take one around 8 to 10 weeks, I believe.
Okay. So you've had a dog for a while, I guess.
Yes.
But in the last year, you stopped the porch from being on fire.
Yeah, you sure did. People forget that.
Yeah, people do forget.
Still
that.
looking for my key to the city, Cavalier Johnson.
You're insufferable. Then the last 2 weeks have just been a total whirlwind.
Yeah.
You got thrown into action at the NFL draft. You had a headset on. You were like an executive producer of 3 different things going on. You're not an executive producer.
Nope.
Not you.
I think I have the ability to be one. I just don't have the title, that type of thing.
Then last week, you win a quote-unquote random drawing for the company.
Yep.
You win a You win a grand. $1,000 in your bank account.
You got it.
Which, by the way, you have received now, I've learned.
Yep. Cash money.
Cash money. And then Saturday, we get a text from you that says, I just broke into a house.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Big-time players show up in big-time moments. You just got to do what you got to do. There's a man out there who's been called to task. That's often me, and I come through in the clutch. I'm not James Harden. I don't score 7 points on 8 shots. People need action. I get things done.
Not LeBron James in the fourth quarter. No.
Now none of these situations are planned for me. I never would have thought I would walk past a neighbor's porch on fire. I just got put in a situation where I had to act. Same thing with Friday of the draft. I could have never foreseen the situation in which I was put in charge. But what did I do? Crushed it. Gotta do what you gotta do.
What did I do?
I think you're just jealous.
Crushed it.
I think that's the... You'd like to be hero more.
No.
Believe me.
Josh, I'd crumble in those situations.
Well, see, and that's why I'm grateful it's me and not you. Because that person's house would be in embers right now. They'd be thinking about trying to rebuild there and what the homeowner's going to do. I saved it. They're good.
Yeah.
You know? It just is what it is. You would have gotten sent to open the lock. You probably break the doorknob off.
Yeah.
Something.
Would have needed a locksmith one way or another. Just probably a different way than they didn't need one when you showed up.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Some people are made for the bright lights, some aren't.
And you are allegedly made for the bright lights.
I mean, it'd be hard to argue with the past calendar year I've put together here.
Yeah, it's a historical run. I mean, it is truly improbable, though. Because who would have thought Josh DiMaggio, of all people, getting thrown in to play hero ball multiple times in the last calendar year?
And if you know anything about me, I do not particularly seek those moments out.
Oh, I didn't even bring up the fact you built a fence
I did.
recently.
Same friend, by the way.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So I got to admire my own work while I went to go pop the door open. Yeah, same friend.
Is the fence holding up well?
Yes, I did give it a little push to see how it was.
Oh, good.
I checked to see how the concrete settled. There was no cracking or.
So the last time you were at this house was when you built the fence?
Yes.
What
I
is-
might have gone over there to walk.
Just
the
out
dog
of curiosity.
once.
And look, I probably shouldn't. I'm probably not the best person to ask this question,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask it nonetheless. What has this friend done for you?
Not as much. Been a good friend. Got me into some cool places because of their status, and got me some cool experiences. I'll say that, but also
I'm more asking, what have they done to thank you?
say thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. She bought me dinner after I built the fence, which is
Hey,
Okay, that's
Strofe,
I
heroes
wouldn't wanna
don't
be
look for
paid.
rewards. They just do it because
Yeah,
they're
a lot-
heroes. That's why you're not
yeah,
a hero.
Josh is a humble guy.
a lot of things
A lot
like
of humility.
I wouldn't want my friend to hand me cash. You know, hey, you saved me $150 from the locksmith, so here's $50. Buy me a couple brewskis. I'll be good.
Ron and the Key, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Wait, Josh had another hero situation? Sure did.
Now, the porch thing is total happenstance. And by no means do I think I'm the only person who would have gone and got a hose. And
I
put
don't
on-
know, man. To get the hose, to knock on the door is one thing.
Yeah.
To get the hose,
You got to do what you got to do. You could start pointing to it being maybe some of the people I surround myself, putting them in positions where they need a hero. Because this same person.
oh, wait a minute. You're Aaron Rodgers. You're the smartest guy in the room.
It's not. Maybe it's just most capable because. I mean,
I don't know that that's a good thing either.
because I don't know. If I told you to go pop a lock, would you even know where to start?
No.
Yeah. So there's some of that. Just I think I come off as somebody who knows a lot more. I didn't know how to build a fence. Never have. Never planned to. Never thought. But when I was asked to help, I said, well, let's figure it out. Let's do what we need to do. I popping a lock thing is back to, college days when it was just here's what you do. You understand the basics of how a doorknob lock works and how a lock works.
David chimes in, which is something I was about to bring up. Joshy, I can feel your head getting bigger from Iowa.
Yes. It's been a good run. What can I say?
I'm a little worried you're going to get too big for your britches here the next couple of weeks. You're going to think you're above me. You've been walking in 2 minutes late to the show the last two shows.
There's nobody who humbles himself more than me.
That is not true.
I'm my own biggest critic.
Well, let's see what kind of show you got today. You ready?
if the pass is any indication, it's going to be excellent. A+. Wisconsin broadcast winning level content right here.
Yeah, how'd we do this weekend? I don't think we submitted anything, actually.
I have a trophy.
Oh, that's right. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy won Best Morning Show, didn't they?
Sure did.
Oh, damn it. I forgot that detail.
I assisted on getting a trophy. 2 out of 3.
Put another check in the box for your boy. I'll just say this: it's good I finally started getting the recognition I deserved. Couldn't even say it with a straight face.
So Giannis watch continues. I can't do this anymore. You're insufferable.
Now, here's one thing, and I've been self-admitted about this. If I ever win the lottery, I'm going to be the worst person on earth.
You already are.
Right. Now amplify it to me having bleep you money.
What does your girlfriend think about all this?
Doesn't love it. Much the same as you. Am I less this way around her? Yes, of course.
But not much.
No, not much. And if the situation arises and it gets brought up, yes, I will shower myself in compliments. Yes, I will do that.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, Josh DiMaggio, the absolute best. Alex Strobe, Hunter Vaughn with you. It's Mr. Irrelevant, episode 249. Let's get into the real stuff now. As Giannis watch continues, the Bucks season about a week into the books now, or been done for about a week. And the speculation just continues. And I think Giannis pulled a move this weekend just to throw a little gas on the fire. Right, have a little fun with it. We know Giannis. He's got a good sense of humor. And I think as a Wisconsin sports fan, if you like me and Joshy, or through and through Wisconsin sports fans, right? So Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers, etc., Marquette, whatever you support. You're used to the Aaron Rodgers version of this, at least recently. Right? You're looking at every tea leaf. You're reading everything he posts or does, or, you know, I remember, and I've told this story before, he did and this was the season he was traded, or the offseason he was traded to the Jets. He did well, I don't even remember what it was. It was with a.
I know them all off the top of my head. So which one? Panchakarma Cleanse?
No. It was a Zoom.
Darkness Retreat?
No, it was a Zoom session.
Zodiac with
Deborah Silverman.
Yes.
I still get emails from her despite unsubscribing 800 times.
I very recently unsubscribed.
It's not working. I've done it 100 times. I still get her emails. But I joined that what'd you call it? Horoscope?
Yeah, it was like a horoscope reading / conversation on it, and it very, very boring.
Very boring. There was
boring.
nothing football related talked about, and I sat through that whole thing. Regardless, you read into everything you see with this generational superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, to know whether or not he will be back on your team or not. And this is the first off season for me, and I think others maybe differently, but for me, being so close to it, being in Wisconsin, understanding Giannis as deeply as we do here by following him as closely as we have, we understand what makes him tick, and we understand the way he operates. So while this is the first time for me, it's felt like there is a realistic possibility Giannis could go elsewhere in 25-26. I still don't think that's going to happen, but I think we have to keep a closer eye on what he says and what he does and some of what the other 29 teams are doing over the course of the next couple of weeks. The NBA draft lottery a week from today. The Houston Rockets, who are the 2 seed, good team, young pieces, lots of draft capital. They are bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Are they going to be interested in the services of Giannis? Can they put together a package the Bucks can't refuse, right? So there are things like that. Giannis posts on Instagram over the weekend. It's a picture of him in a shirt that says "Win for Cream City," with the emojis in the caption, the prayer emoji, and the salute emoji. So prayer salute with a shirt that says "Win for Cream City." What does that mean? Could that mean it's been a great ride? I salute you, Cream City? Could it mean I'll be back? Salute me? Could it mean I'm praying for what's next and I'm saluting for what's already happened? There are so many different ways to read into this when it comes to Giannis and VAG emojis. And this is something we've discussed with Aaron Rodgers. This is something we've discussed with all sorts of superstar talents that could be headed elsewhere at the end of the season. Prayer salute is what we get from the two-time MVP and NBA champion Giannis Antetokounmpo on his Instagram over the weekend. A prayer and a salute. To me, this means nothing. I think this is just end of the season. This is the final post from this season. Joshy, what say you? Prayer, salute.
This game of interpreting Instagram posts, especially from professional athletes, is
The best.
It's also the best, but a dead end road, because these things could mean literally anything. Like, we see people tweet about things, and you're like, wait, are they talking about their football team, their basketball team? This doesn't really happen in the MLB much. And it will oftentimes be like, no, actually, they're going through a hard time with their girlfriend or something.
Right.
This one, I struggled to read into meaning anything either way. I think he was saluting the season and the year they had and the effort he put into try and make the Milwaukee Bucks champions. I viewed it as like a recap, like, hey, good run. We gave it our best. Things don't always go our way. The shirt, obviously, win it for Cream City. My other takeaway was, unless I'm unaware, this seems to be Giannis's first entrance into the cryptic social media posting game, where there was a game 7 this weekend,
There was.
and he was a bigger story than that game 7.
That is correct.
So he knows the attention is on him. He's not a dummy.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
And he decided to throw his hat into the cryptic posting. Now, he could be doing the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, where they just like to bleep around and mess with people and think it's kind of funny, which I would not put that past Giannis. He seems to be like lighthearted, fun type of... Everything we know about him is he likes a little joke. The other part of me, though, was like, I don't know if it is a joke and he's kind of doing the cryptic stuff. I don't know if it's the right time. Playing with a lot of people's hearts here. I didn't love it.
Uh-oh.
That's the most I can say. Because it instilled more doubt in me, but it is, what is it, the Rorschach test? You're going to see what you want to see based on the way you probably already think about it.
So, for example, fans of the 29 other teams, they view that as a goodbye to Milwaukee.
Yes.
Now, the fans of the Bucks,
Yes.
they view that as just another day.
Another day he's coming back. That's both Jen and Gabe on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy award-winning show, 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Milwaukee. Best large market morning radio show. No big deal. Both of them said it made me think he was closer to... that meant he was coming back. Which, I didn't see that.
I see it.
Yeah. And
Win for the Cream City. Salute.
I have more doubt about Giannis's future than I think all three of you. And that could be misplaced out because, let's be frank, we are all at this point guessing.
We are.
We're trying to do our best deductive reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to a conversation we had last week and a conversation we'll have for the next several weeks. And that is the fact of, does it make sense for Giannis? Does it make sense for the Bucks to run this thing back in 25-26? Because I think when you're staring at it here on May 5th, it already prematurely looks like a lost season, right? Without the services of Damian Lillard for, at minimum, the entirety of the regular season, if not into the postseason, at minimum, you're probably not winning a championship, right?
Nope.
Giannis is good, and he gives you a chance, and he probably makes you a playoff team, right? I think we would agree on that. If you just have Giannis, no Dame. That makes you a playoff team. You're good enough.
Play-in team, maybe 5 seed.
Now, you view it, you go, oh boy, that's a lost season. And then you have to start wondering, okay, who's on this team in 2 years? They don't have draft capital, which naturally they haven't done a ton with in the last several years because they've had low picks in the first round, if they've had picks at all. But they are at a point now where winning a championship is going to get very dicey. Right? The East is only getting better.
Infinitely more difficult.
Right. And so, of course, when we discuss this, we are at a point where the Bucks would get a lot for Giannis. A lot.
A
Picks.
king's ransom, some would say.
Is that a King's joke?
No. Just a way to say it. King's ransom.
Got it.
You got it, bud. Move along.
I found the English translation of the song that was also posted with this because I got deep into this then. And some of the lyrics in it, I don't know if this changes your guys' thoughts on this, but in the song it says, I'm selfish, it's me or nobody. Sometimes I don't consider how you're going to feel. I pursue for the records, that's how the sport wants me. I want a cup, a championship.
Yeah, that pushes me more towards I'm moving on.
That pushes me more to I'm running back.
But he says I'm selfish and I want more championships.
Right, which he wants in Milwaukee.
That seems like a leap.
No. He doesn't care how anybody else feels because everybody wants him to leave.
Huh?
Everybody wants him to leave, so he's going to say, F your feelings. I'm back in Milwaukee, baby.
Right, but reverse it. I'm selfish, so even though the city and organization has treated me great, I'm in it for me.
Can't be.
And I'm looking for trophies.
No. Can't be what that means. Can't be.
I think the song
had nothing to do with the post.
I think the song points more towards the not coming back than the post did.
Are we really going this deep with Giannis? He posted a song in a language, by the way, which none of us speak. None of us speak the language.
But there's Google Translate, so we know what the song says.
But how spot on?
So wait, if Giannis said I'm leaving the Milwaukee Bucks, but in Greek, you'd be like, well, it's not the language we speak. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think we are jumping way too far to conclusions based off a song in which he didn't reference in the post. He just added it because he probably likes the song.
It just so happens to reference being selfish championship.
But hold on.
And it's about someone who grew up in the streets and had a difficult life.
Exactly.
Kind of like Giannis did, too.
But that's the part that's featured in the post. The part about being selfish and competing for championships is not the part he featured in the post.
You wanted Giannis to edit the portion of the song to more.
If he's trying to
scrub through a 4-minute song and find the exact moment when I'm sure he listens to the whole.
I don't even know how you do that. Don't you just play what it offers you? It's like, hey, this
you
is
can, but it takes a little bit of time.
You can move which section.
He's got big fingers. It's probably hard to do.
That's what we're talking about.
Fair.
He was trying to send a subliminal message. His fingers were too big.
Yeah.
Got to get a bigger phone.
David makes a really good point. He says, Strofe, you think this is too deep in Giannis watch? Just wait, brother. It's only going to get worse.
You, Gabe, specifically, I'm worried about.
Me and Gabe?
You guys are very emotionally invested in it coming back, and it's going to take a finalized trade of Giannis for you guys to finally believe it's going to happen.
That's correct.
Yeah, you guys are pot committed to a return.
Unless I hear from Giannis that he is requesting a trade.
I think even if he says I requested a trade, you'd be like, well, maybe they don't do it.
I wouldn't do it. What team can offer you enough for him? He's 30 years old. He's playing the best basketball of his life. No team can be like, hey, give me the second best player in the world. Here's a crappy trade offer.
You're making good points, but also furthering my belief into what I said originally that caused that little hissy fit there from you.
Ooh, hissy fit. Now you're getting a little personal. Ooh.
I mean, both you and Gabe have gotten on your bully pulpits and raised your voices about something we don't. The Bucks have nothing to offer Giannis other than you've played here.
And he's under contract.
Is there a profession where your contract means less than the National Basketball Association.
I will give you that. That part is true. That part
Major
is true.
League Baseball.
But Giannis made a commitment. He's a man of his word.
I think you have an issue, and so do many fans of a parasocial relationship with somebody who you may have met Giannis, but you don't really have like real interactions with him. You don't know him on a personal level.
No.
So
To even say I've met him is a stretch.
Right.
I've been in the same room as
you
him
held
a
the
few
microphone
times.
in front of him, probably.
Yep.
Yeah. I did that once too.
He walked past me at Thanalysis, and he walked past me here when
Did
he
you
recorded
salute
with
him?
I prayed and then saluted. Actually, I went, Giannis, good to see you.
Good.
Yeah. So maybe he's referencing me.
I doubt it.
No, I wouldn't. As deep as we're going here, anything is possible.
I mean, we are scratching the surface as David tried to let us in.
Josh,
this is. Yep.
Well, so you mentioned something there about Strofe getting attached to Giannis. Do you think Strofe is more attached to Giannis than he was to Aaron Rodgers? Like
At the end, I
emotionally?
am.
Yeah,
sure.
I think because in terms of comparing the sagas of Aaron Rodgers and the potential of like the writing was on the wall with Aaron
Right.
Rodgers for the greater part of 3 seasons.
They drafted his replacement.
Yeah.
He was clearly unhappy. The locker room was in shambles.
yeah.
So yeah, I think there was more writing on
basically-
the wall there.
He directly said, "I might not be here for 3 consecutive postseasons."
Right.
Yeah.
And I think going into the offseason of what that would have been 23 or the offseason after 22 into the 23 season, I was ready to move on. Right? I was ready to see what Jordan Love had. I understood it could be a really bad season, but it would give us answers. And he was obviously pretty awesome that year.
The problem is, and the problem I can justify your emotional investment more is the future ain't as bright in a post Giannis.
You can give me 6 first-round picks. You're not drafting another
I mean,
Giannis.
either way, I think it's going to be mostly downcast. It's going to be mostly cloudy for the Bucks for at least the immediate future. But at least you could tell yourself a story about the Packers back then.
Right.
The story you're telling yourself about Giannis and coming out of trading Giannis ahead of schedule is like somehow you managed to get Cooper Flagg and young talent back.
Bingo.
I was
gonna
just going to say,
the best
Cooper Flagg, it's
the
going to
best
happen.
case scenario. The best case scenario is you're the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
Right? Is you make a couple deals, you acquire a bunch of picks, and you turn that into a young team that's really, really good. Right? And that is so unheard of. And the Thunder rebuild took several years, right? They went from the Durant and Westbrook and Harden to the Paul George and Chris Paul version of the Thunder.
I mean, there was a time where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the only person on that team that really was worth a damn.
That's correct.
That like anybody even ever heard of.
And then you obviously had this great evolution over the past, especially 2 years for Oklahoma City, and they still have a bunch of picks. So they are actually a team that could be in the Giannis sweepstakes if they wanted to be. They have the assets. Now they need to offload Chet Holmgren or somebody that's a young up and comer that's not SGA, because obviously you don't want to pair Giannis with SGA. But you know, as you can continue to look at this, there's only a few teams that make any sense. Houston's one of them, and that's the one that scares me, to be real honest with you. Because obviously they're a really good team. They're well coached. They had a really, really good year despite losing in the first round in 7 games last night to Golden State.
Can we just talk a little ball here quick?
Let's
before
talk
we
a
go
little ball,
on?
yeah.
Is there a better but bigger choker in all of sports than James Harden?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Whoa.
Craig Counsell as a manager.
Good shot. That was worth our time.
I hear you, but the extent of poor performances in Game 6s or 7
Here's
for
the
James
thing.
Harden
Here's the
is insane.
I think it might be worse for Harden than it is Counsell.
Yeah. I mean, he just like stopped playing basketball.
Here's the name I'd hate to bring up.
Uh-oh.
The head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Doc Rivers.
Prolific choker.
And he obviously crossed over with Harden a little bit in Philly.
They did it together.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's the only other name I can think of.
Yeah, it's just been when I clicked on that game and I looked at the box score, I said, "Excuse me, he has how many points?" So 2021 Game 7 versus the Bucks, 22 points, 5 of 17, 2 of 12 from 3. 2022 Game 6 versus the Heat, 11 points, 4 of 9, 3 of 7 from 3. 2023 Game 7 versus Boston, 9 points, 3 of 11, field goal, 1 of 5 from 3. 2024 Game 6 versus Dallas, 16 points, 5 of 16, 0 of 6 from 3. And then most recently Game 7 versus Denver, 7 points, 2 of 8, 1 of 4 from 3.
Yikes.
That's going to be a guy who's going to be in the top 10 all-time scoring,
Oh, yeah.
and he's going to be known as, prolific choker.
Yeah, that's one of those guys who's never going to win a title.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over now, but...
Just doesn't have it.
Now, in his defense here, as I was thinking about
James Harden
chokers.
Good luck.
Well, no, I'm just another person that this could be comparable to in a different sport. They talked about John Elway this way as well, because he went to multiple Super Bowls, couldn't win, couldn't do it until he finally got those 2 at the very end of his career. So I'm just saying that, like, this has happened with other people before. He still has time. I don't want to see him go out as, like, the biggest choker. Like, I wouldn't want that for anybody unless it's Craig Counsell because he's a traitor and I hate him. But I don't want it to happen to James Harden. So I'm trying to find somebody that he could, try and emulate.
But here's the thing, right? Like, I don't. It's a different sport, right?
Yeah.
Like Denver had good pieces around him,
the thing
including behind him.
That
right?
changes it is Elway. It was always going to get credit for any success that a team has. If James Harden goes somewhere and is the third option or fourth option as he ages into 36, 37 years old, he's not going to get the credit that a quarterback would get because obviously we know what the quarterback does on the field. Like, his best bet is to try and Vince Carter the end of his career and just glom on to places that need veterans. But I don't know if he's that guy.
I don't think so. And maybe he will be, right? We've seen.
Well, he turned into a great facilitator this weekend.
Sure did.
Decided, I'm not feeling it. I'm not shooting today. A lot of passing.
That was a brutal Game 7.
Yeah.
It got really ugly.
Uh-huh.
What was it, 35 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
And Denver's good, and Denver's fun, and it sets up, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but it sets up a pretty fun series between them and Oklahoma City. I mean, the semifinals in each conference are fun. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, I believe are the seeds left. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know. You're an NBA
1, 2,
guy.
6, 7 in the West.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what it is.
Well, don't ask us.
But you said it as a question.
Expert on the NBA. Yeah, you did. You did upspeak at the end.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7.
Say it with your cojones.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7.
Aye, Captain.
There we go.
Salute prayer. Salute and prayer. Just like Giannis. All right, let's talk about Mark Murphy. Joshy, I don't know if you watched, the Packers released about an 8-minute long documentary about the draft. Did you watch this?
I have not watched it in full. I have seen the clips. I have seen the moments that were most noteworthy.
All right. This one I did not see until I watched the full documentary. I don't know if this one's getting the recognition it deserves. This is a clip of Mark Murphy receiving the draft card he ultimately read from. And it is just the most Mark Murphy epitomized moment, the epitome of what Mark Murphy has been as the president of the Packers in 10 seconds in the Packers mini doc released from draft weekend over the course of this past weekend. Take a look at the interaction between, I would assume this is an NFL employee, handing the card to Mark Murphy.
I believe in this video, I don't know if you got the full thing, our guy we interviewed.
Oh, he might be in it. I didn't notice.
I
didn't notice that. Let me look.
Yes.
Jeff Miller, you're referring to?
Yes.
Executive Vice President of the NFL. That would make sense. But a woman approaches Murphy with the draft card, and then he cracks a joke to Roger Goodell. Take a look. Of course.
The Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
Matthew Golden, he's here on site.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm just glad some name I can.
I'm just glad it's a name I can.
You had have you ever seen the video where there's like you're watching action happen, but like literally into the middle of a circle, a gorilla comes and jumps around? That's what you had happen there by not noticing our guy who
Jeff
we
Miller,
interviewed
yeah.
sat next to. I mean, he's in center frame.
He is right in the middle of the video. Yeah, that's Jeff Miller. If you missed any of that, go back to Mr. Relevant podcast feed last Tuesday. It's the first interview in last Tuesday's episode.
Good interview.
Yeah, he's great. We talked about cheese curds for like 6 minutes, but then we talked about a ton
We
of
asked
NFL
him some
stuff.
tough questions. He answered.
He did. He was great. Nicolay High School alum from the Milwaukee area. So anyway, Jeff Miller is the executive vice president of the NFL Communications, Player Health and Safety.
But back to Mark Murphy.
Back to Mark Murphy. Amazing joke. Just having the time of his life. He goes, oh, actually play it one more time because I want to hear the reaction, number one, when he hears Matthew Golden's name, and then number two, when he cracks the joke. One more time, Mark Murphy to Roger Goodell and this woman who hands him the call.
The Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
Matthew Golden, he's here on
Oh,
site.
okay, yeah. I'm just glad a name I can.
Just glad it sounds like a name.
Couldn't even spit out the full joke.
No, he couldn't get there. He was so giddy, so excited for his moment to go on stage and give his soliloquy to the city of Green Bay and everything going on there. And look, we talk about generational runs. Mark Murphy, in his retirement tour, is on a generational run. So you have that moment, then you have right after that his soliloquy at the draft, and then this weekend you have Murphy's Take 5, which is either the penultimate or third to last version because
I'm just impressed you do penultimate.
July 1st is his retirement day, right?
I think so.
So the first weekend of June, we'll get a Murphy's Take 5. And then I don't know if we'll get one the first weekend of July or not. Or will we get Policy Takes 5?
I have a feeling we're not going to have Policy Takes 5 moving into the future.
Oh, come on. So it would come out July.
No other owner answers questions from
But
the
they're not
fans.
owners. And by the way,
Jerry
if you
Jones
want
literally does
idea-
an hour-long radio show
that's
on
true.
The Fan
That's
in Dallas.
Well, and then he also does midweek, and then he also does post game.
And Stephen Jones also does his own separate show.
He does love listening. You're listening to himself.
Remember he landed on the field and did an interview off a helicopter?
Oh, that's right.
It was incredible. Cowboys Twitter was going off. One of the best days of my life.
So here's what Murphy wrote. This was my favorite part of Murphy's Take 5 this week, which I habitually read every month. Now, I just recently started doing this, and I'm really mad I didn't think about this idea years ago, where I tweet the takeaways I have. But this was my biggest takeaway. It's an ultimate answer. It's about travel in Green Bay. So here's what Mark Murphy wrote, and you can read the full thing over on Packers.com. So Herbert from Illinois writes in. Herbie from Illinois writes in about getting to Green Bay, traveling from far away to Green Bay, yada yada. And Mark Murphy starts complaining about how the flights in Austin Straubel and Appleton just aren't that great because it's not that big of a destination in comparison to some of the other NFL markets. So he writes in here, it also hurts us that there is no train service to Green Bay, and then in parentheses, but we do have the National Railroad Museum here? ? Then he writes, we would be much better off with one airport between Green Bay and Appleton rather than having those airports compete to each other. He goes on to tell an example he recently had where he had league meetings in Atlanta, Georgia. So the direct flight to Atlanta was at 5:15 a.m. from Green Bay. That would require me getting up at 3:45 a.m. and arriving very early in Atlanta. So I checked Appleton's flights to Atlanta. The only morning flight was 5 minutes later at 5:20 a.m. He just wanted to complain about an issue he had flying.
Now,
he's a multimillionaire.
So yes, this does seem like a petty argument. But as we know, and I don't want to be using this term, but I'm going to have to get my point across, he's been known as a useful idiot for the NFL. Things that Roger Goodell and the bigwigs want done there get floated by Mark Murphy most often. That's why the tush-push ban was a thing that Mark Murphy pushed for. And if you notice, it seems like everyone at the NFL agrees with his point. If I were to guess, this is literally like some political back channels that they were discussing and some project he's trying to get done of a centralized airport between those two that would expand it and make travel easier. Because as you know, he's all about expanding Green Bay, turning it into a destination, turning it into more than just Lambeau Field, Titletown, a whole thing you come and do. So he's thinking, and probably has had talks with people high up. First of all, the pop about the railroad, that's... If you know anything about Wisconsin politics, the lack of railroads here is a extremely loaded political issue.
Hot button issue, baby.
Extremely loaded. And that is one thing that's been going on since I've been politically aware as somebody in Wisconsin. The railroads have been that. So he gets that pop in there. And then I think he's literally angling, and there's like talks of this happening, and he's saying, well, where else am I going to have somewhere else to talk about airports?
Than my own column.
Right. Nobody can tell me what to say here.
It's so good, man. He's going out now giving an F.
No.
And
Do you think
he just pulled off the biggest event debatably in state history?
Mark Murphy Memorial, well, not Memorial, he'll be still alive. He's either at this proposed airport going to have a wing named after him, or the whole thing is like Austin Straubel.
Mark Murphy International Airport. International.
Yeah.
They're not
We're
getting,
onto something here.
okay, hang on. He's not getting an international
Who the hell's
airport
Austin Straubel?
in Green Bay.
Who has built up that city more than Mark Murphy?
Okay, that's great. I'm saying from an airport, like if Madison isn't an international airport, it'll be a regional airport. Like, let's slow
Mark
down
Murphy-
with international.
Mark Murphy's career is going to be after he gives up. He says, well, you know, I got they own a golf course now. He's going to be the one leading the charge on getting the centralized airport. There it is.
Great, a regional airport.
Yeah, named after Mark Murphy.
Yeah,
There's many regional airports named after people.
Yes, I know. I have zero issue with him getting
JFK,
an airport.
you ever heard of it?
I have. I have no issue with the airport. I have issue with trying to say that it'll be an international airport. That's my only issue.
Okay. I misunderstood you there.
Austin Straubel was a major in the United States Army Air Forces.
Thank you for your service, Austin.
Located in Green Bay. He was the first, Brown County's first aviation loss in World War II. Died at the age of 37 near Indonesia.
Maybe Mark Murphy doesn't want to be the reason that place closes. Just
Might be a good call. When did they rename the airport? There was an Austin Straubel Field at one point.
do you think it was built in his how is that airport really date back to World War II? I find that hard to believe.
It opened in 1948,
So
and he died in 1942.
yeah,
So 6 years later.
probably opened with his name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. All right. Well, there you go.
because
Oh, did you know Green Bay Austin Straubel is an international airport?
because they fly to Canada.
Oh, that's all you need to be called international?
I believe so.
Well, I
you
mean,
should have to leave the continent.
No, you just got to leave the country. International would just be outside of the country. So that's the most asterisk international airport in the world. That's
yeah, you see
pathetic.
some of those where they sneak international, and you're going, where the hell are you guys going? A little hop, skip, and a jump. You're in Canada before you know it.
Mark Murphy, Northeast Wisconsin International Airport.
That's a mouthful.
The MMNEW. The MMNEW.
That might have been the worst named thing of all time.
The M2 NEW.
It's just
getting
Mark
worse.
Murphy International.
Okay, we'll work on it. Where's it going to be? Like Wrightstown?
He says 15 minutes. The thing is, Austin Straubel can't close because the Packers aren't going to travel to charter
Wrightstown,
themselves.
yeah.
Right. Like they're
Take a bus to Wrightstown?
right. They are going to nice, quick, and easy for them to get
What
in
else
and
would be
out.
over there? Like a Kana, maybe?
Nah, you don't want stinky.
Oh, you don't.
That's trouble.
Yeah, that's a tough way for
Imagine
people to
being
come to
stuck
your
on the
city.
tarmac in Kaukauna.
All you smell is the paper.
It's tough. Shout out to all our loyal Kaukauna listeners.
Did you know my dad lived in Kaukauna for 3 years?
I would have never known that ever.
You could put it on like
Yeah,
the
you do.
south side of De Pere, maybe. Because then that's still closer. Like you're not having to go all the way up into Green Bay if you're coming from Appleton.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
true. It's true. We might be onto something here.
Again, this show, we
In-depth
solve
airport
the
talk
world's
here.
problems.
what we do.
I guarantee you, the only show that will talk about an airport on ESPN Wisconsin the entire month.
Look, I am fascinated by him complaining.
I do think I'm right, though, on this is more.
His entire gripe is the fact that he couldn't get a flight to Atlanta past 5 a.m.
Well, no, if you read closely with a fine-tooth comb, it's why would you have two flights going to the same place within 5 minutes of each other that are located so closely?
Right.
So if a centralized option, we would have had more flights. But yeah, Mark Murphy, I'm sorry you get to go spend your time at a resort for the owners' meeting while collecting millions. Way to wake up at 3:45.
Oh, poor guy.
I wake up at 3:45 to travel all the time.
Eric and Green Bay on the text line, 800-990-3776. Carpel's talking text line. Liz is more with Carpel's. Eric in Green Bay says, for what it's worth, Appleton also an international airport.
Yeah, see?
Again, just because they're close to Canada, I don't think it actually counts. They fly anywhere else other than Canada, fine. But other than that, it just doesn't count.
To be called international, you should have to go to 2 international countries. You should have to go to Canada and Mexico, or Canada and Greenland.
Greenland, yeah.
You could hit like Jamaica, maybe, from Green Bay. So there's a few options.
That's a strong maybe.
I know. I'm just saying. There might be a plane that can fly out of there that's big enough.
To get a plane big enough with enough fuel to get
to Jamaica. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. You got to go to Chicago for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so our options are literally Canada and Mexico.
Yes.
That is correct, yes. Latest power rankings out, ESPN.com, rated by ESPN's NFL Nation. Josh, have you had the chance to look at these yet?
Last ones I saw were post-draft.
These came out today.
So last I saw...
Which teams improved most in the draft is the topic today.
I saw the Packers at 10th last time ESPN did one of these.
Okay, they're up a little bit.
Wow, they got better.
They got better in terms of... So this one is about which position was the most improved. As you can guess, it's wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yep. Talking about Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, and Christian Watson likely out until November with an ACL tear, is what Rob Domofsky talks about. So the Packers rank 8th, which is good. Top 8. You'll take that?
I've got something that I've got nowhere else to talk about this with, but did you know Matthew Golden and his 4.29 time is disputed by many people in the draft Twitter and draft world? Because Matthew Golden only ran 1:40 time. It was the first one. He got a 4.29 and then did not run the second. As we know, you typically run 2 of them and try and improve your time. The indication is that because of that something was mistimed and he's closer to a 4.4 runner than he is a 4.29 and got a good score and then just said we're leaving it because he then didn't run at his pro day or anywhere else. There's a working theory that Matthew Golden is not actually as fast as he is.
Want to know something crazy I learned this weekend?
What's that?
About Matthew Golden's 40 time?
Yeah.
Remember Packers wide receiver and UW lacrosse alum Billy Schrader?
4.29 guy?
4.26. He's faster than Matthew Golden.
Yeah. Speed lightning.
Isn't that crazy? It's 25 years ago he last played for the Packers.
Was that hand timed though?
I don't know.
It must have been.
It had to have been. But 4.26 ain't bad.
I mean, that's moving.
So hold on. So back to these power rankings. 8th on the surface seems good, right? You'll take the 8th spot.
Yes. That puts you in conversation for Super Bowl.
The thing that makes me a little bit uncomfortable about it, though, it means you're in the top 25% of the league. They're 5th in the NFC. Eagles are number 2, Lions are number 4, Commanders are 6, Rams are 7, Packers are 8. So there was a team represented from every division other than the NFC South.
I'm skeptical of the Rams.
And the Vikings are 9th.
Yeah, the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy is going to determine what that team actually
I'm also skeptical in the Rams, but...
Matthew Stafford's going to miss time.
Does every year at this point.
Yes.
But the Devontae Adams,
a good team.
Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua duo, super intriguing.
Yes.
For the Rams. I think they could certainly win that division.
Yeah, I would pick the Niners.
I'm confused on the Niners. The whole Brock Purdy thing's dragging out. They rank 15th in this week's power rankings.
Yeah, I just think they have more top-end talent than, honestly, Anyone not named the Eagles?
What timing that is, by the way. Ian Rappaport just tweeting as we're discussing Matthew Stafford that they have just finalized his new deal.
I thought that was already finalized.
I think they had a handshake deal.
Yeah.
Because he was always coming back. But I think they just finalized it.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a weird spot. I mean, it is what it is. I think the Packers... The only teams you really see ranked ahead of the Packers that you're truly scared of and would be worried about a matchup is
Lions
and Eagles.
Eagles.
All those other teams, you think those are kind of any given Sunday matchups.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way with the Rams.
They're all in sort of a big grouping.
Can I just toss something out there?
Here, let me guess. Commanders.
Are we too high on the Commanders?
I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we saw what was
A fun run.
yes, and a once in a lifetime performance for a rookie quarterback in a situation. I mean, that team, they've still got a long ways to go. Obviously, Jaden Daniels covers up for a lot, especially when he was playing as well as
I don't think anybody's disputing whether or not he's a good quarterback.
Yes, I think he's very good. I also think the NFL is going to come back and bite him in the ass, and there's going to be a little returning to reality. Because some of the stuff he was doing towards the end of the year and into the playoffs was like, well, I mean, what just happened there?
You're right. I think people will catch on to that. But I would just point out, it seems like they did make a few impressive improvements this offseason, right? You add a guy to a decent wide receiver room in Deebo Samuel, who I know deals with some injuries, is a little, I don't want to say he's a little bit restricted in some of his impactfulness, but he's a smaller receiver, right? You can utilize him in creative ways, but it's a good add nonetheless. You add a good left tackle in Laramie Tunsil this offseason, and you add a few pieces to your defense. So, all in all, I think the Commanders on paper are solid, right? I think they're a good team. I think they're a playoff team. I just do not expect them to return to the form they were at the end of last year, where they're winning on the road in the playoffs, and they're going on this miraculous run with a rookie quarterback. I would not anticipate that's a team who's back in the NFC Championship game in 25-26. But give them their flowers. It's the offseason. They're coming off an NFC Championship run. I get it. They're a team that doesn't scare me. The Eagles do. The Lions do. Frankly, they're good teams. And the Lions are going to be healthier. I mean, obviously, they're losing both of their coordinators. They didn't impact their defensive line, I think, in the draft as many anticipated. So, all in all, meh. I think they're a good team.
Didn't they draft Tyreek?
They may have drafted Tyreek.
Yeah, which people kind of all thought was
But he's a tackle, right?
DT, yes.
Yeah, I was thinking, I guess I was referencing more on the outside. You get Hutchinson back, obviously, but who will probably win comeback player of the year if I had to put money on it right now, just off the top of my head.
I mean, I literally saw on Twitter some video of Hutchinson working out, and the conversation is that he looks like he's behind schedule. So I know it's early, but I know I'm trying to help you out as a Packer fan and say, like, hey, maybe he's slowing down. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Jeez.
Hutchinson is the favorite for comeback player of the year. Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, right there after him. Then Trevor Lawrence, J.J. McCarthy, and Rashee Rice.
Was Trevor Lawrence coming back from sucking ass? Did I miss something?
All right, a couple minutes left, PTI style. Let's do this. Which revenge series in the NBA second round are you most looking forward to? Is it Jimmy Butler at the Timberwolves, or is it Russell Westbrook at the Thunder?
It's a real question you're asking me, and those are my two options.
Those are your two options.
I'll be watching hockey.
Oh, wow.
Puck.
I watched some puck this weekend, man. It's so good.
Did you see the 3 goals in the third period game?
Sure did.
Fun.
Yeah, super
Winnipeg
fun.
Jets. That was cool. Did you see the Winnipeg Jets reaction of their little downtown there? That's Deer District like.
Yeah.
Fun.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Wish we could have that.
I was just about to say the same exact thing. Yeah. I'm with you. I assume you're taking Jimmy at Minnesota.
I do not like Jimmy Butler. Don't like watching him play.
So you're taking Westbrook at OKC.
He gave me two bad options.
Pick one.
Both those players you named are two of my least favorite athletes in all of sports.
No.
Yes.
Are you aware who my favorite NBA player of all time is?
Probably Russell Westbrook.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Let me guess. You had a OKC Westbrook jersey as a kid.
Not as a kid, but as a teenager.
As an adult.
Not as an adult. Somewhere in between there.
It's a grown ass man just buying a Russell Westbrook Thunder jersey.
I had the 2017 Christmas jersey, which was freaking sweet. Remember the commercial where they were all shooting at buckets with bells on them and they played
Yes,
Jingle Bells?
vaguely,
It
yes.
was that Christmas edition's jersey.
You bought the Christmas edition
Thunder Russell Westbrook jersey, yes. I have it somewhere still.
I mean, that is poor purchasing on your part.
Oh, I got it off eBay.
The Christmas version of a jersey.
It's my favorite jersey the Thunder have ever worn.
Unbelievable.
Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
Who are you most?
I'm more intrigued by Butler at Minnesota because you remember how that all ended, right? Like
Yeah.
Butler was super unhappy.
But Cat's not there. How much of that team is even the team he?
It's not, but I think just the idea of him going back to Minnesota, where obviously it ended really ugly.
I would much rather. I'm more interested. If I watch it all, it's Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
How does he cement himself as? I mean, we all think he's a superstar at this point, but is he going to be able? Because where did they finish last year?
Who?
In
The Wolves?
yeah,
Second round.
yeah, and everyone was like, I mean, he was the story last year. Anthony Edwards was
Or
like,
did they lose in the Western Conference Finals to the Mavs?
they might have.
I think they made it to the Western
You're
Conference
Mr.
Finals.
NBA
Yes.
guy. You tell us.
This is the trouble we get into. I rely on you to be Mr. NBA, and then I'm getting
It was Wolves Mavs, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. So I'm much more interested in Anthony Edwards. That's the guy I like. I like his attitude. I like his style of play. I thought it was a little bizarre. He was walking around LA saying he owned the city after the game.
It's a little strange.
Found that odd. I think he thought that was going to come off better than it did. Not that it came off too poorly. It was just kind of like, okay, what are you doing there? Just circling the arena? All right, have fun. Have a good walkabout.
It's fair.
Enjoy yourself.
It was Mavs Wolves 4-1
Yeah.
in the Western Conference Finals. I was just remembering that epic series they had with Denver, and then they got smoked.
Are you, as a sports watcher, if my team's not directly involved, I want the young guys to elevate to superstardom versus watching the old washed up guys.
I see. I think,
I'm not going.
I
You'll
think
never
that's what-
find me rooting for Jimmy.
No, I agree. I'm definitely rooting for the Wolves in that series. I just think it's fun because, to your point, it is the young up and comer, could be face of the league at some
Yeah.
point, Anthony Edwards, taking on. I don't hate to say this because I think it sounds like I'm demeaning LeBron, which I'm not doing, but I think the most impactful player of the 21st century in Steph Curry, in terms of his impact on the game overall. And then obviously you have playoff Jimmy, who everything ended ugly in Minnesota. I just think that series gives you some cinema, right? Where you have this great 7-game back and forth with Golden State and Houston, which ended up being a really good series, some blowouts, but some really good games in that series and some great entertainment value. I just think this series, the 6 and 7 seed, the West was so competitive this year. This proves it even further. The Warriors, who were a play-in team, are now alive in the second round. Seem like they're getting a little bit of their groove in. I don't know. It's just a fun series.
What
for me.
happens more?
Oh boy.
Jimmy Butler has 25-point games, or Draymond Green gets a flagrant or technical foul. What occurs more times? I'm on Draymond's side.
Yeah, since you're throwing in flagrants in there, I think that's the way you have to go.
You notice he's kind of found a little hack there.
man.
He goes, maybe I'll just get a flagrant on this instead of a technical. That's his new bit.
I like it. Yeah. Like, how do you play by him? How do you play by him? Yeah, it's probably Draymond, but is it? Because if Jimmy, if this series goes 6 or 7, which I'm anticipating it will, he's going to have at least 2 25-point games.
Yes, I think 2's fair. Draymond.
He might have 4.
In a 7-game series, his over-under is 3.5.
He might have 4. That's a good question. I like that. All right, you learn something new every day. We learn something new today. It's time now for What We Learned, presented by Door County Distillery, locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits, made locally in beautiful Door County. If you're heading up there this weekend, make sure you pop in, do the tours, do the tastings. If you're not, bring Door County Distillery to you. By the way, 80 degrees Saturday. You're going to be out. You're going to be using the grill. Mix up some old fashions. Mix up some cocktails. Have a bourbon on the rocks. Do whatever you got to do, but do it right. Do it with Door County Distillery. Visit their website, doorcountydistillery.com, for a huge list of unique cocktail recipes as well as the retailer nearest you. All right. Group what we learned today. Just one of us, or one topic for all three of us.
You want someone to supply the one?
No,
topic?
I've got the
I was
topic.
going to say, because I've got a really good one that we got to get to it this week.
Oh, okay. Got it. Hang on to it, maybe. We'll see. We're already over time. All right, here's this. Andrew Filipponi of 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh reports today that on September 28th in Dublin, Ireland, the Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Minnesota Vikings, not the Packers, quote, contrary to popular belief, end quote. We remember a few months ago, Ben Brust of Kyle Brust and Nortman from weekdays 2 to 5 on ESPN Wisconsin tweeted this. I am hearing from sources the Green Bay Packers will play the Steelers on September 28th in Dublin, Ireland. So Filipponi has gone out and completely blasted Ben Brust indirectly by saying contrary to popular belief. And what we learned is it's sounding like Ben Brust was wrong.
Didn't Mark Murphy say that they weren't playing or gave some indication towards it was unlikely?
Yes, but then Amon Green at the same exact moment said, and by the way, I'm taking a trip with some former players to Dublin that weekend. If you want to come with us, you can find information on my Instagram.
That's right. It was double.
It was one guy saying one thing, one guy saying the other. It could just be league speak from Mark Murphy. But now it is sounding as we get closer and closer to
So
next
is
week's
Amon
schedule
Green's
release.
trip going to get canceled?
I guess it depends on how many people have booked it.
I mean, they're not going to go for a
Viking Steelers, you might. I mean, you could still go
here's Amon Green for the Viking Steelers.
amongst other Packers alumni. Yeah.
That's an interesting
They
one.
might just need to pivot that trip a little bit. Maybe invite like Jared Allen.
Do we think there's a potential the Packers are playing internationally? No, because Pittsburgh wouldn't go twice.
No, it sounds like Minnesota could be going twice, the back-to-back weeks in Europe. They could play in Dublin against the Steelers and then in London against the Browns.
I would be.
Peed off?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that leads into your bye week.
Yeah, but still, like, I don't want to watch my team at 9 a.m. 2 weekends in a row.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't know.
Good thing
Those
it's not our
9
team.
a.m. games are kind of great. Like that is
They do
that's
hit
like
you
a
the
college
entirety
football
of the-
Saturday. Like
Yeah, they do hit a little bit differently, actually. If it's a good match, right? Because remember a couple of years ago, I think it was it Ravens Chiefs overseas one morning?
Yeah, it
Or
does
something,
give
maybe
you the
Bills
advantage
Chiefs.
of what the West Coast gets. Their games start at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And by the time Sunday Night Football's done, you still have time to do stuff after that. If your team plays at noon, that's all you care about, or 10 a.m., 9 a.m., you have a day full. Let's do whatever you want.
What do you think Benny's going to say?
He needs to pivot hard. I'm
He's
interested
gonna
to see
double
what
down.
his pivot actually ends up being.
He might.
It's Ben Brust. He's going to double down.
That would not be a wise decision. I've told him the whole time I hope he's wrong just because it'd be really funny.
So you haven't spoke. Has he seen the report?
I sent it to him, but he did not respond.
He did not respond. He was
Oh, he's
working the phones
panicking.
as he was.
And he was busy this morning, so I did not say a word to him.
Was he busy
outside
or Ben
of
Brust busy?
He actually looked busy. Not Ben Brust busy. He looked busy. Because I handed him a sheet of paper at one point, and all I got was a quick thanks. And that's the only back and forth we've had today. I'm going to go check in with him right as we wrap up the show. But what we learned is I think Ben Brust was wrong.
Which
Color me stunned.
I was going to say that's great, but at the same time, I'm like, yep, yeah, it's Ben Brust. Of course he was.
Yeah, it's on us for letting ourselves believe it.
I never said I believed it.
You believed it.
I believed it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You were rooting for it to be wrong, but you believed it.
Correct. Yeah, I think you read that right.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, hang on to your what we learned. We'll get to it later in the week. Assume maybe it'll evolve. I don't even know what it is.
No, this story's sealed.
Is it the poop lady again?
No.
Oh man,
No, she sells folk content, though I did learn over the weekend.
Who does? The poop lady?
Yeah.
You don't want the no.
She did an interview with a newspaper after, which, by the way, I've never seen somebody meet allegations of pooping on someone's car or pooping in public more head on. Just been like, hey, lost my cool. I was being harassed. I pooped on him.
Which, maybe that's the way to go with this stuff. People try to run from it. Just meet it head on.
Yeah.
Just got to go right into the
condition.
poop.
Yep.
Okay.
Shout out to the Delco pooper.
We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Thanks to Joshy. Thanks to Hunter. I'm Alex Strofe. Have a great couple of days. And we were back with you beginning at 12:30 Central, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, YouTube on Wednesday. And of course, available wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the all new, brand new, customizable ESPN Wisconsin app. We'll talk to you Wednesday. Peace.